Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna do a really quick, really brief walkthrough of my editing process. Now, this is really specific to headshots, and this is not at all what I will do for, say, a wedding or even a family shoot or newborn shoot, but at least you can kind of see a little bit of behind the scenes. And maybe if you're a photographer, maybe you might find this interesting and might take away something. Um, because I've already delivered this session, it's going to be pretty quick and brief. I've done all the work. I'm just going to show you how I break it down. And this is really consistent across the board. I do every single headshot session the exact same. So starting off with culling, I have clearly already selected a bunch here as not okay. I've X'd them. They're out of the picture. I'm no longer going to look at them. I've flagged a bunch here as potential good images. So once I've called through, so what that would look like is I'll just hit, the little P for pick. If I say I really didn't like this one, I could select it as a reject. Oh, I like that one. Oh, I don't like that one. Whatever. I'll go through that as fast as I can. Now, I do call in Lightroom. I know a lot of photographers use Photo Mechanic. I'm not quite there yet. Maybe next year I'm thinking of getting it. But anyway, once I've done culling, I will select the flagged photos. Then I will go in and I will actually go into my develop module here. You can just hit D or go up to the top. And I'll do a really, really basic edit. Usually it revolves around, maybe a quick color adjustment, whatever I feel is needed. And then I'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and I'll just do the remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. And this is just to lens correct for the morphing that your lens will naturally do. Some people don't like to do this. I do, especially for headshots. I think it's really important to have the cleanest, most true to real life looking image. So that's what it looks like with it off and on. It's just a very subtle difference. Once I've done that and removing chromatic aberration, sometimes you'll get a little purple halo depending on the lens you're using and the quality of the lens and so forth. If that's really bad, I'll go actually into manual and start trying to get rid of it even more so because it's really not good to have in headshots. Wedding and stuff like that is a little less sticky, but yeah. So once I've done that, I will go back to my library here and I will export them all with a watermark. I call this a proofing gallery. I'll do like pretty small JPEGs here, and I have a set watermark already made for proofs like this. This is what it looks like. I make sure it goes right over the middle so that the client or subject or whomever's reviewing them can't save the unfinished ones. But I'll do something like this. I keep it pretty low opacity so they can still see their expression and whatnot. And I will export that. Then I'll send them a proofing gallery for them to look at. I'll typically rename the images. I just do custom settings and it'll just default to 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll go upwards from there. And then I'll just get them to send me the image number. So if they want image 1, then I can just match it up in Lightroom. So she picked her 5. Once I go through and see their selections, I will star them with 1 star. So here you can see I have the final that she picked, the top, the best. I will then go back into Lightroom, and as you can see right here, I'll do some exposure adjustments, even more color correcting. I'll do some minor like painting, like she had these kind of like purple reflections coming back off her glasses, so I kind of dulled that a bit. I don't really go into the clone tool or red eye or anything too crazy. Most of that I do in Photoshop, but I'll do a little bit of painting over and I'll make sure that it looks nice and contrasty and vibrant and the colors are all correct. I'll make sure that the colors read properly just like they did when I was actually there. just going through all this, making sure that it looks good. I'll sync all of that together so that they all look the same. Typically keeping white balance, lens correction. Those are the really important ones. Exposure for headshots most of the time is really consistent, so you can sync those settings up. And that's when I will pull it into Photoshop. Now, I'm not going to walk you through my Photoshop editing process, but I'm going to show you some before and after so you can actually see what kind of stuff I'm getting done in Photoshop. This is the before I pulled it, and this one is the after. So as you can see here, I've toned down the color of the red in the hair. I feel like the lighting really made it a little bit redder. She also requested for me to do that. So super simple fix. I got rid of these little flyaways here. Obviously some of this background noise that's distracting and shouldn't be there. I filled in some of her hair there just to make it look a little bit smoother and thicker. If I can't get rid of flyaways well enough, then sometimes I'll just try and fill it in with actual hair. Whoops. I'll make sure that their jackets are clean. If there's any discoloration, there's a little bit of redness on her neck. Just got rid of that. Brightened up her eyes so that her eyes really pop. She has beautiful blue eyes. We really want to bring that out. Sorry, guys. Really want to bring out the color of her eyes. So that is one before and after. Now we did move out onto the rooftop of her building. So I'm going to show you the before and after of this. It's very, very similar because we were a little bit more exposed to natural light, which was kind of all over the place and a little bit messier. I had to make sure that I was adding shadows and light back into the image where I really wanted it. So you'll see in the before and after that this area is a little bit darker, this area is a little bit brighter. Again, the color of her hair I kind of muted down. These little flyaways I got rid of. So this is the before and that's the after. Pretty subtle, nothing crazy. I don't do super extensive Photoshop. If I do or someone requests it, I will charge extra just because it takes so much time. And this alone already takes quite a bit of time because I'm really making sure that this looks perfect and smooth and clean and not too messy, because that's really important to me, especially with a headshot, because I know how important people's headshots are and how people use their headshots for getting jobs and stuff like that. So it's really important to make sure that they look clean and simple and true to real life. So that's about it. I'll get rid of blemishes and stuff like that. Megan has beautiful skin, so that was really not a problem for me. But I'll get rid of any kind of blemish, discoloration, stuff like that. I keep it pretty simple though. And then once I've saved it all in Photoshop, I'll come back here, make sure all my starred ones are selected, and then I'll just collapse those stacks so that the Photoshop one, the most recent saved version is there. And I'll export those as large JPEGs into a gallery for the client to download. And that is it. It's really, really simple, but I just kind of thought it'd be fun to walk you guys through this process because I don't do headshots very often, but it is kind of fun and it's totally different. So if you're interested in getting a headshot, please reach out. And yeah, now you know what that editing process looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter. I do it once a month, and I have sneak peeks behind the scenes. I do tips and tricks in every newsletter, and I'm starting next month to do some other new things. It's going to be pretty exciting. My newsletter is just getting better and better, so please subscribe. I'll have all the links in my blog or YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're watching this. The link is there. You can find it. And thanks for tuning in.